Okay, guys. Well, somebody had asked me to watch this. They actually sent it to me directly. They said, Papa God, please take a look at this. Okay. And they send me some good content that I enjoy. So obviously, priority. Oh, duh. Anyway, it's called Toxic Boy Moms from the Queer Kiwi. I think I might have watched some content from them before. I don't remember. But let's see what's going on, guys. Because I come from a single mommy. So I'm a mama's boy. That part is true. But there is a difference between being a mama's boy and being like a really weird entitled kid. Okay. So it's not cute. It's one thing, I'm a mama's boy. I love my mom. It's one thing to love your mother. It's another thing to be like insane and want to find a woman that literally is your mother. Okay. Learn some boundaries and be a good man. Let's just get going.
Greetings, guys, girls, non-binary pals. Greetings, guys, girls, non-binary pals, and welcome back to another video.
I'd rather say brothers, sisters, and thisters. That's how I operate with that. So how do you like that?
I
it's a little
forgot to take my meds, so I'm gonna go do that real quick. Please hold. I've returned from taking my
I didn't forget to take mine, or else my blood sugar spikes.
pills. Let's see if between now and the end of this video,
really quick, my blood sugar was at 173 yesterday afternoon. That's higher than it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be at about 100 or like 120 is usually normal, something like that. But it was 250, so I'm getting it down. Been doing good.
there is a difference between how I am speaking, because this is a social experiment now, all right? Let's see how it goes. A few days ago, I was on TikTok, and I'm very behind on everything happening on TikTok because I go through phases of like, I don't open TikTok for literally months, and then Kat will send me one TikTok, and then I am using TikTok for hours every day for like a few weeks, and then I get bored again and I don't use it for a few months. And it's like a cycle. So I'm very behind and everything that happens. So anyway, a few days ago, I was on TikTok and I came across this one TikTok that was a toxic boy mom. Specifically, it was someone responding to said toxic boy mom. And I watched this video and I was like, oh my...
What exactly is a toxic boy mom? Okay, I don't understand that. I was making a little joke before, but is it just like a mama's boy?
God.
Like the mother of a mama's boy?
This is... Wow, I need to talk about this. So that is what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be talking about toxic boy moms because it is seemingly a relatively large issue, and they say and do some stuff that really needs some unpacking. So we are going to unpack that together. Before I get into it, I do want to say thank you to today's patron of the day, Eldo. I appreciate all the support, so thank you, and I hope
that's like his username and the parents didn't actually name this person fucking Eldo, because that's just that's horrible. God bless you, brother, or whoever, whatever person you are. I call it boys, girls, and whoever, brother. So
you enjoy this video. If anyone would like to become a patron, you go to patreon.com/savvycat. It starts as little as £1 per month, and I appreciate it hugely. If you want to hear more about it, then
I'm trying to
stick
lose
around
a pound
until
a
the
month.
end.
Right?
So let's move into the video. If you don't know what a toxic boy mom is, basically it is a mother of a boy. They are specifically just very strange about their love for their son, and it is very rooted in like misogyny, and it shows itself in ways such as
rooted misogyny. Oh my goodness. It sounds like we're getting into a conversation about like some kind of emotional incest. But misogyny. Okay, let's see if we can get that connection.
Favoritism of your sons over your daughters. There's also a weird amount of like emotional
Would that be
incest?
Oh, funny that you said that. Would that be misogyny though? Fundamentally, would that be misogyny? I mean, I don't have a kid, but I wouldn't surprise me if like daughters, like we have dad, like, oh, it's daddy's girl. Like we have daughters usually gravitate towards their father, my understanding. And then like the sons would gravitate towards their mother in some capacity. I mean, generally speaking, in like a normal, or excuse me, let me not say like normal, so like a heteronormative relationship. If there's like a, mom, dad, brother, sister, it's usually the father's responsibility to teach the son how to be like a man, and teach the daughter how to be treated by a man, and the mother's responsibility is, teach the daughter how to be a woman, and teach their son how to be treated by a woman. Not in a gross way. It's more about setting boundaries and learning respect for yourself. Obviously, men and women is changing. Like what it means to be man and woman is changing. I'm not saying that there has to be a rigid structure, but I'm just saying fundamentally speaking, that's usually how it goes. So, is it misogyny for the mom to like their son more than their daughter? Because I also know, and this is something that like every girl I've dated, and even my own mother has told me, it's that like they, for some reason, all daughters fight with their mothers. I don't know what it is. I don't know why it happens. I can't tell you about fathers and their sons because I don't have a dad. But like, is it misogyny, or is it just kind of something that people gravitate towards fundamentally? I'm not saying there's not toxic relationships with it, but I wonder why would it be rooted in misogyny necessarily? Maybe it's just a thing that exists, you know?
And there's just a lot of like misogyny that comes out.
Misogyny.
It is very, very interesting and very uncomfortable and disturbing to watch. And so there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to unpack. And I want to go over a few good examples of this that I found on TikTok. So the first TikTok we're going to watch is the TikTok that started this. It's one that like
started
went around
it all,
a few
baby.
months ago, I think. So a lot of you might have already seen this. I want to say thank you to Cass Jerome because she's the one who put it on my For You page and she made a very good TikTok about it. I'm going to also be talking about this TikTok and then I'm going to veer off, talk about some others. For context, this is a mother of 4. She has 3 daughters and 1 son who is the youngest, and their ages are 3, 4, 8, and 10, I believe. So let's watch this fun little TikTok.
I never thought that I would be that toxic boy mom. I love my 4 kids equally, but that last little boy just hits different. And now I feel like I'm having this existential crisis. Or I wouldn't be that mom, that toxic boy mom. He hits his sisters, he punches them. No. I'm like, maybe he's having a hard day. So when I think about my daughters...
So he's, well, just to give you in context, he's 3, so okay.
Getting married, I get excited, right? Think about their dresses, planning their weddings. When I think about my son's wedding, I want to cry. Boy mums, we've got to step up. We've got to realize that we are the problem.
Obviously, there is a...
Okay. First of all, she's acknowledging that she has a little bit of a problem relationship. It doesn't sound necessarily like super toxic. What I'm hearing is like, oh, my last kid was a boy. He's 3 right now, right? They said 3, 4, 10, and 12, I think, right? So this kid's 3. So hitting, like, it's not like it's a grown child hitting anybody. It's a 3-year-old, obviously an issue, needs to stop. But they're like, I kind of like my boy son more. Part of it's probably because it's the newest kid. For some reason, usually you like that kid more than anything else, right? And then also maybe it's like, oh, I finally had a boy. I don't think it's like super problematic. I mean, it's like she's obviously like, yeah, I need to be a little bit better in the way that I treat my son. You know, but it's not like in the proportionality of an issue. It's like a smaller issue. It's like, oh, okay, she realized it. It's not that big of a deal, but okay.
Magnitude of things wrong with everything she just said.
I don't think so.
Order of picking this apart, all right? So we start with, obviously, that last little boy just hits different, which is just overall a weird thing to say. I don't have favorites, but you do have a favorite.
Okay, listen, hot take. Everybody with the more than one kid's you're gonna know that this is true. You like one of your kids more than the other one. It's just a fact. Every mother, every father has a favorite kid. The goal, that's just gonna happen. You're going to resonate with the kid more. Maybe they're less problematic. Maybe less behavioral. Maybe they just, I don't know. Something's going to happen. You're going to like one of your kids more than the other ones. You know it's true. If you have more than one kid, you know that. So I don't see that as like a shimmering red flag. It's more like, yeah, I like this kid more, but I love them all the same. You know, it's like, okay, yeah, that's normal. That's actually somewhat normal, you know? Now, the bigger issue that I have really is like not that she feels that way, because she's aware of the feeling, so she's like, you know, she's monitoring it. But it's that she's saying it on social media, and her kids might see it one day, and that's like a little bit shitty. So, or they might see it right now. So, yeah.
You can't say I don't have favorites and follow it up with a but. That's just called
that's
I have a favorite. You can't take away the like guilt and shame of having a favorite child. We then move into the worst part of the TikTok, which is
the hitting.
He hits and punches his sister, but I think, you know, maybe he's just had a hard day.
Yeah, she's acknowledging that it's not right. And also keep in mind, the kid's 3, right? That's the youngest kid. She said 3, 4, 10, and 12, I believe, or 8 and 12, something like that. Kid's 3. So it's not like a 10-year-old hitting, you know? But it's still a problem. But again, the mother's acknowledged it.
Sorry. I'm sorry. What? What? Is this what you mean by he hits different? Because he like actually hits people? You
Chris Brown
shouldn't
hits
be
different, brother.
encouraging that. Even if you're not encouraging it, you definitely shouldn't be just like brushing it off. What the fuck? What the fuck? Do you realize how fucked up it is to like see your son hitting your daughters and being like, oh, maybe he's just had a hard day. He is 3 years old. Firstly, you should know whether or not he's had a hard day because you should be the one who's like, you know, mainly overall monitoring that. And if he has had a hard day, it is your job as his mother to talk him through that, help him figure out why he had a bad day, and find some healthy ways to get through that and feel...
I do think she probably knows that, but okay.
Feel better. Get that out of his system and feel better and make his day better. And you don't do that.
Well, so here's the thing. This is one of the problems too with young boys. Boys are like generally more aggressive, And so, you know, he has a bunch of fucking sisters. He's probably having a hard time. I remember watching this interesting piece about ADHD because I have like diagnosed ADHD, and they talk about how there are some people who are misdiagnosed or overdiagnosed because the young men who don't like get it out of their system, and obviously it manifests differently in women. So he might be having a bad day. It's definitely an issue with the way that he's interacting, but then also part of it might be just like his inability to like get out there, and it might be a social problem where the kid needs to be introduced to other boys like 3. Not saying that they should be hitting each other, but you know, there might be an issue with like the amount of energy that they have inside of them.
By hitting people. What about your daughter's days? Why are they less important? Because I can guarantee being hit by their brother is going to put a bit of a damper on their day, especially if their mother doesn't care and allows it to happen and effectively is like, okay, you know, it makes sense for him to hit you. He's had a bad day. You should let him hit you. What?
Well, yeah, they should get a timeout. I guess that was the problem, is she didn't explicitly say like, yeah, I give my kid timeout or something. That could be a problem too. It's a lot of it's up to interpretation is the problem. She barely said anything in her thing, so we're all going to kind of interpret it our best, like our own way, generally speaking. But I'm cooler than everybody else, so I'm always right. So.
You have to understand here that you are raising adults, like they're children now, but you are shaping them into adults. And through this, you are teaching 2 lessons here, one to your son and one to your daughters. You are teaching your son that if you have had a hard day, it's okay to hit women.
You could be. It's possible. The problem is that they're 3 years old, right? So if the kid was like 10 or 12, it would be different. But I don't think a 3-year-old has any concept of girl and boy in like a robust way where it's like, it's okay to hit women when I'm not doing well. Like that's a little bit of a terminal take. Like if you said you might be, if you don't correct the behavior now, teaching your kid that it's okay to express your angers or frustrations poorly through violence, that might be true. But the misogyny angle like falls flat here because it's a 3-year-old boy that doesn't understand, like has no perception of boy or girl at this point. So like this misogyny angle is it's very speculative to me. Okay.
You can take your anger out on these girls. If you've had a hard day, yeah, it's fine to hit them. I understand you have some pent up emotions. This is a good way to take it out. And like they can just deal with it, you know? It's their responsibility to let you take out your anger however you wish to.
I don't think it's that deep.
And in doing that, you are teaching your daughters that it is normal and okay for men to hit them if they have a hard day.
I just feel like you're teaching them more that your 3-year-old asshole little brother, I like him more than the rest of you. Like I think that's what it's just still bad, but I don't think. Again, it could happen, but look, we're at 3 years old, right? So I think it's not that deep. I don't think it's like that, like oh my god, type of like a level. I could be wrong, I guess.
The justification for men hitting you is they're feeling a little bit emotional, and this is how they express that. It doesn't mean they don't love you. It doesn't mean that, like, you know, they're a bad person or that they're mean or anything like that. This is just them expressing themselves, and, like, you have to deal with it. Just let him do it. He's had a bad day. And, like, I know that they're children now, and you might not see it that way, but that is what you are teaching them. That is what you are teaching them. Surely you can understand how fucked up that is. It's not your son's fault that is how he is taking out his anger, because he's done it obviously a couple of times, and you've coddled him. You've told him it's okay. You've enforced that he can do that.
That part might be true. I mean, she's saying him. That seems to be the implication when you say boy mom, but we don't really know that. Like, she definitely treats the kid differently or better at her admission. So
he's going to keep doing that because there's no consequences. There's no repercussions. You haven't told him that it's wrong. So if he grows up being violent, that is on you. If your daughters grow up and accept violence from people, that is on you for telling them that it is okay for people to be violent towards them for no reason, really. Just because they've had a bad day, so it's okay. A 3-year-old hitting an 11-year-old, sure, isn't gonna really hurt them, but how you, an adult, responds to the situation is
That's a good point, too. Siblings do tend to fight each other. I wonder if there's like a reciprocation if they're hitting each other back. Again, it's like all speculative, but I know brothers and sisters still fight each other when they're like young and they just beat the crap out of each other sometimes, which isn't right, but you know, again, there's so much open to interpretation that makes it like impossible to pass like a an absolute judgment here.
Which is then what is and isn't okay. It's your responsibility to protect, love, and nurture your children, and that means raising them into kind, caring, respectful adults. And you aren't doing that. Going into the next thing that she said of, when I think of my daughters getting married, I get really excited and happy about picking out their dresses and doing of...
Wait for the message to come through.
Frames super chatted $20. Papa God, I think you are the best male role model in my life.
Thank you. I appreciate
respect you and your opinions and takes, and can only hope I grow up to be a successful, respectful man like you and find an amazing wife like Mama Gut as well.
Well, I appreciate that. Okay, I appreciate the $20. You're right about Mama Gut. You're wrong about me. No, if I'm the best male robot in your life, that's it. I'm just kidding, brother. I really do appreciate that. I do. And also shout out to Mama Gut because she's the best. She's the best woman in the world. So yeah, man. God bless. Thank you so much.
When I think of my daughters getting married, I get really excited and happy about picking out their dresses and doing their hair and their makeup, etc. But when I think about my son getting married, I want to cry. Now this is already weird because I think it's weird to think about your children's wedding.
I know what she's gonna. No, it's not weird to think about your children's wedding. Stop. I already know where she's gonna go with this. This is gonna get into like the territory of emotional incest. So, the concept of like, oh, I got to give away my son, and like this is like the reach that I think she's gonna go with, and I could be wrong. Is that like I think about giving away like my son marrying another girl, and it upsets me because I'm going to be displaced in the relationship in some capacity, and we're talking about that as an emotional incest. We don't know how much of a relationship with her son is because it's the youngest kid versus that it's a boy, and we doesn't necessarily make it emotional incest. I think we're being a little disproportionate. Because emotional incest isn't like I treat my boy better than my girls. I'm a mother. Emotional incest is when you treat your kid like they're some form of a romantic partner, even if it's not sexual. So, like, let's say the father leaves the house and the son has to like kind of become one of the adults, basically, and it has to not just like help. There's no problem with helping out, but takes on almost like a fatherly role in some capacity, and they're doing things that they shouldn't be doing at their age. They're emotionally helping their mother. Like that's an issue when like your parents, your son, and your kid have like a really like confiding relationship in some inappropriate areas. Generally speaking, it's okay for your parents to express themselves to you, but you shouldn't be laying like super intense topics onto them, especially if they're at a younger age. It's like when they rely on their child for emotional, their child for emotional and practical advice and support. Yeah, so that's what it is. So emotional incest, also called covert incest, describes as an unhealthy family dynamic where a parent relies on their child for emotional and practical advice and support. So like basically disproportionate. So like if you have a 13-year-old son and like you talk about how like you're having problems with like dating or like deeper emotional problems with like maybe some kind of like a past trauma or something that a 13-year-old just can't really understand or comprehend and is not equipped to deal with. That's really what emotional incest is. It's not like, oh, you got to help clean up around the house. It's like, this is like it's a very intense word. It's a very intense thing. I don't think that we should, like a mother liking their son and not wanting their baby boy to leave the nest. That's such a normal thing for some mothers. And it's like a problem because you don't want to coddle your kid. But I feel like we're getting into like the territory of being super, we're being like disproportionate in this conversation in a way, and especially since she said very little. Like your best argument's like, yeah, what she said was a little weird, and like some of the things were open to interpretation, so it's like a little bizarre, but you're taking it a little far, I feel like, and maybe I'm just assuming, but you used the word, so I'm assuming that's where we're getting to this point.
Things when they're still children. Why are you thinking about that? It's really strange.
It's not that strange. It's not strange to think about your kids getting married. It's like normal shit, okay? It's not that
that aside, it's weird that someone else loving your son makes you feel sad. You should want your children to be loved.
That's not,
and you should want
issue.
your children to be happy. And if you're like very happy to give your daughters away, but like really upset to give your son away, there's a lot of questions to be asked there, and this is where we like verge onto the like emotional incest that so many of these boy moms display.
It's just too much.
She has a bunch of
Frame super chatted $5. By the way, Papa, will you ever have a live stream chatting with viewers? I'd like to have a conversation with you.
I should. I should get back to doing that every once in a while. What do you want to talk about?
Being her favorite, and one of them that like verges on this emotional incest sort of thing is this one. When you get replaced by your mini-me, so you make a mini-him, and it is her husband holding their daughter, and then she picks up their son. And
you're how old are you?
Greetings, guys, girls, non-binary.
This is weird. Such a weird time when in our lives. How old is this person? So, like, the reason I'm asking is because we have a really big problem, okay? We have a really big problem with young people. They're 23. So we have a really big problem with young people being too smart, okay? I know it sounds bizarre, but just hear me out. This person's obviously like very intelligent, but the problem is that they don't have a lot of life experience to go with that intelligence. When you have two kids, or excuse me, you're a mother and a father. We're just gonna go heteronormative, right? And let's say you have a daughter. The daughter gets to a certain age where like they start to occupy the father's time in some capacity, and like it can be like a little bit weird, where it's normal. Like I don't know exactly how to express it. So like she's gonna want attention from her dad and blah blah blah, and then like a boy's gonna do the same thing with their mother. Obviously, the parents shouldn't be allowing some form of incestuous relationship to develop, but like that's not what's happening. It's like, oh, when your mother and father, they used to hang out together and cuddle and be together. Now the daughter that's like young wants to come and they want daddy's attention. It's normal shit. As long as it doesn't get gross, nothing is sexual here. So like that's a little bit of a joke about how like my daughter has been occupying my husband's time. She's at that age where she's like a daddy's girl. Like you go through phases as a kid where you identify with your mother or your father, and then you hate both your parents. It's very normal stuff. And so she made a joke about how she had a son so that like she had like her own like whatever. It's not that deep. I feel like it's an offhanded joke that parents understand. It's not this really big deal that I think this content creator is trying to build here. Stop. Don't be disrespectful. This person is smart. They're intelligent. They know how to express themselves. The problem is like I said, they have a lot of intelligence. And so they look at the world. And especially now we have a lot of different, like very inappropriate narratives going on where like everything is grooming. Like we went through a whole thing where a 19-year-old was grooming a 17-year-old, which is obviously preposterous. Where you have like young people setting the stage for things and their minds start to wander and they start to go through these different chains of connecting different dots and then like, pondering on different things. And like, that's what people do when they're in their own time, especially smart people. They sit back and they think about different scenarios and different things and they start tying things together and they're like, oh well, this seems like this could be inappropriate. But since they don't have like a whole lot of life experience, I'm just assuming with these particular topics they're going to the moon and they're misguided in the proportionality of the way that they feel. And we have one problem is that like we put too much of the way we feel in the front of our conversations or in the front of our interaction. So she feels something's inappropriate. And so now it's like, well, then it must be. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's inappropriate. Just because you think somebody feels it or think something feels inappropriate doesn't mean that it is, right? Like it's the same thing if we get like a little bit like we go in one direction. Like if let's say you're homophobic, you look at two people kissing. He's like, oh, that's inappropriate. So let's make a law. But why? Why is it inappropriate? Well, you can't really answer the question, right? Just because something feels inappropriate, something feels wrong to you, doesn't mean that it is wrong. It's something that we have a conversation. And sometimes you can be correct, but in here, I think that she's like missing the mark almost like out the gate on this video.
So this is weird. I've always found this weird. I've talked about it in my like Are the Straights Okay videos a couple times of like people viewing their children as like competition for their partner's attention. It's really, really
They're not really. I mean, okay.
Weird. Referring to your child as like it's a mini version of my husband, so I'm happy I don't need my husband kind of.
But that's probably what's going to happen, right? Like my daughter if I have a daughter, is going to be a mini version of my wife. And if I have a son, he's going to be a mini version of me. Like that's generally what's going to end up happening. It doesn't mean that you can fuck the kid. Obviously, that's disgusting. We're not going like that deep though. It's just like, oh, they have some personality traits, like just hot take. But when you have kids, they have your genetics. And so they can be very similar to you. So yeah.
Thing really odd because you shouldn't be thinking of your child in the same way you think of your partner.
You're wrong because you're younger than me. Listen, I'm not trying to be rude and I don't like to go to that area. I'm not saying that she's wrong because she's younger than me. I'm saying she's wrong because she doesn't have life experience in this particular topic. Like I'm just telling you. I know you might be offended because I did an age thing, but I'm 33 years old. I have friends with kids and shit. Like this is the phase of my life that I'm in. It's an understanding that I have better. I'm not saying anything profound. I'm just literally an older person on the internet. That's usually like a space dominated by younger people. So like I have a different frame of reference and frame of thought for things that I feel generally also is a little less terminally online. Okay.
Those should be two different forms of
So,
because you shouldn't be thinking of your child in the same way you think of your partner.
But they don't.
Those should be two different forms of love and affection.
That it is. Like, you're reaching to the moon. Because now you're getting into, like, a literal incest. Like, that's not what's happening. There's similarities, but they're not fucking their kids, and they're not developing inappropriate relationships. At least not based on what they're saying here. So you're reaching a little too much.
Obviously, and it's like you can't replace your partner.
Papa, study shows 70% of your child's personality is from the parents. That makes sense to me, especially since the person that's saying that is some kind of scientist in my chat that's always that likes to tell me that eating dirt doesn't increase your immunities to COVID, okay? Because it does. I'm going to live and die on that, okay? Don't wash your hands because you'll develop better immunities to diseases. Don't quote me on that because I'm probably wrong, but let's go.
With a child, those aren't interchangeable things. You can.
Very true. My daughter looks so much like me, but but has a lot of my husband's manners and traits. Interesting. Yeah, genetics are weird.
Give more of your attention to your child, but saying that you've like replaced your partner with your child has really weird implications that I don't think people think about when they say it. But like having this competitiveness between like children and parents is just such a weird dynamic.
I don't think
it should just be a different type of love.
It is. Yeah.
And it should just be a full family dynamic. I don't understand why you would be jealous of your husband spending more time with your daughter. I don't get that at all. That should be expected, you know? Like, your husband should spend a lot of time with his daughters, and you should also spend a lot of time with your daughters. There should be, like, mutual effort and time spent with your children. And it's weird that you think in order to compete with your husband, you need to have a son to make him jealous.
I think that you're taking this, like, light little joke a little too seriously. It just seems like the kids are taking attention, and that young girl's at a phase where like she's taking her father's attention a little bit, a little more, and she made a joke because now they're having a son. I don't think that they engineered a boy through like fucking, you know, the year 3000, like, or whatever, you know, magical fucking technology just so that she can compete with her. I think they just ended up having I think they probably just ended up having a son, and now they're making like a little joke about it. I don't
have kids to make each other jealous. I don't care if it's a joke. It's not a very funny joke.
It is funny.
You shouldn't be using your children to make your partner jealous.
I don't think that they had kids just to make their partner jealous. You're fucking reaching. You're going to the moon on this one, okay? You're not even the first woman that went there, okay? So you don't need to go to the moon right now, all right? Well, crazy.
It's really, really odd behavior. In this same sort of area of emotional incest, there is a sound that is really popular with boy moms is Enchanted by Taylor Swift and Happy by Olivia Rodrigo, which obviously is quite strange. Like we have like these. There's multiple of these that exist.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to sing here because I don't want to get copyrighted. And I've been copyrighted for singing before, but like hopefully I won't be. All right, please ignore that I haven't warmed up my voice or anything. Please don't be in love with someone.
Okay. Singing is killing me. When your 8-year-old comes home from school with his first girlfriend.
Probably gives you butterflies. I hope you're happy, but not like you were with me.
Oh, come on, man. You're hurting me. You're hurting my soul here. Okay? You definitely did theater in high school, okay? I'm not trying to be mean about it. Okay? I have friends that are theaters people. Good friends. I do. I truly do. But you guys are hitting me with a little bit of cringe sometimes, okay? Yeah, sure, the audios by themselves are a little weird, but I think it's just a boy mom inside joke about like treating your boy a little bit better than you probably should, but it's not like this thing that's going to ruin their life forever.
Selfish, I know, but I can't let you go. So find someone great, but don't find no one better. I hope you're happy. And so obviously,
she hit that note.
This is a little bit of a problematic trend.
She fucking ate, guys. I don't know what she ate, but she ate that. That's what I'm saying. Wow. Damn, she really made this whole video just so that she could fucking sing. God bless her, honestly. Good for you. Okay. I respect the grind.
And like, are they joking?
Yes.
Perhaps.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes.
I don't really think it's that funny, and I don't really think they're entirely joking.
Okay, so let's be like explicitly clear here, okay? First of all, just because you make a joke about something doesn't mean that there's no serious any message behind it. Really good comedians, Jon Stewart, George Carlin, will obviously use jokes in order to like reinforce particular things. However, sometimes things are just jokes. Now, that being said, the joke here seems to be that like, oh, it's my son, And like as a mother, you have a different relationship with your son than you do with your daughter. It doesn't have to be gross, where you get a little attached in a certain way, which is something that happens to a lot of people. And now they're getting their first girlfriend, and like they're nervous in some capacity, like they're going to be replaced to some degree or something in some way. Does it make it incestuous? I don't think so. And it's also like a joke. Now, if they didn't let their kid date because of that reason, now we're having a real conversation. Okay, if they didn't let their kid date, then you could say, oh, that's the problem. But if they're letting their kid date, then you really can't say that there's an actual problem. That's where you have to. So that's where it becomes an issue. If they wouldn't let their child date somebody because they wanted to, they were so possessive, that's where it becomes an issue. We're not seeing that here. It's a silly TikTok joke trend. Okay, you have people making jokes. You have like fucking 15-year-olds joking about killing themselves, and everybody has a gay old time. But like when it comes to somebody making a joke like this, we're gonna have a meltdown. A little disproportionate.
Frames super chatted $20. I've been doing some self-reflection on how my parents have treated and raised me, as I'm sure I have a mental disability along with depression, but my mom doesn't believe that anything is wrong with me while my dad is absent.
Oh, I would honestly go to like a mental health counselor if you can, because like you shouldn't try to self-diagnose, that's just the most responsible way to operate. But I feel what you're saying, my brother in Christ. Thank you so much for the money. You don't have to keep donating that much money, bro. I really do appreciate that.
The fear of having your son like stolen from you is so strange, because like, again, it's a very different type of love. You shouldn't be jealous of that type of love for your son. You should like not want that for him, but like if that's something that he desires, then you should be happy. You should want that for them. You should want them to feel love from so many people. You should want people to love them. You should want them to love people.
I think they do.
You should want the world to love them. And that should make you feel happy. Like your job as a parent is to make
I think they do feel happy.
And it's to raise them to be.
By the way, that's not the role. Your role of a parent is to raise their child like correctly. They're not always going to be happy. You want to raise them to be like functioning, right? Like if you raise your child to just be happy, then you're just going to keep buying them shit. But I understand what you're saying. But like just because they made that joke doesn't mean that they're preventing their kids from like fucking doing anything else with other people.
Good people who are loved and who give love.
The channel
and
name
who
is
are
the Kiwi Queer. If you want to find their Queer Kiwi, if you want to find their Spotify.
Happy. That's your job. And it's really weird that you feel like you have to compete with people for the love and affection and attention from your son, because there are different types of love and there are different types of affection, and you should not be jealous of like romantic affection that your son receives and gives, because you should not be craving that love. That's not for you.
Honestly, when I saw that TikTok, I actually thought that the mother was relentlessly raping their child. I agree with you, by the way, because that's what you're saying here. I just want you to be like very clear. We should be aware of like what we're saying. You're saying that this mother wants to fuck her kid. I agree. I could see it. I can see that. You got to relax with someone like this shit, because that's what you're trying to say. I mean, that is you're implying that heavily. And if you don't realize you're implying that, then you need to realize that is what you're implying. And that's because you're being disproportionate in your call out. That's it. Fundamentally speaking, like when your kids start making friends in general, they're going to start taking their attention away from you. It's all like part of different phases of development. Like you start to get like, oh, my little kid, they're growing up so fast. They're not tiny anymore. I can't touch their little feet anymore. You sometimes even miss cleaning up the poopy diapers from your kids because it's a phase that's like gone forever. Like it's not that crazy. What is fucking crazy though is that these are invisible, and I have to. Oh wait, yeah, I gotta. There we go. Beautiful. Sorry.
And that's not something you should be even remotely jealous of. And you shouldn't be telling your son that like no one will love you like me. No one will love you as much as I do.
Song.
Because
it's not that big of a deal. And
what?
And there is a level of truth to that. Kind of. It's not necessarily true, but like a mother's love is different from a wife, like a fucking wife's love. So that is a bit of a difference. So nobody will ever love them like you. You're literally reinforcing that point. You've reinforced that point multiple times when you say like, "Oh, the love's supposed to be different." Like, yeah, that's like how you like. You can't like if your wife loves you like your mother loves you, that's fucking weird. Okay, so there is also a level of truth to what they're saying.
What? That's just emotional abuse at that point.
No,
that's just so weird.
Crazy.
Because again, like no one will ever love your son like you do. Absolutely not. And I'm not going to take that away from you. No one is going to love your child in the same way you love your child. And that is because no one else is their mother. and no one else should have that position of acting as their mother. That's not what a partner is. And it's so fucking weird because so many of the moms like this are so protective of their sons that they only want to like give them away to people who do act as a secondary mother. They're like, you need to, if you're going to date, if you're going to get married, you have to have someone who will look after you and do all the things that I do for you. Why are you encouraging them to want to be in a romantic relationship with someone who like acts as their mother? It's
I mean, I agree to an extent. I'm sure. Okay, sure. Like, obviously, like, especially a young boy, you have to learn to fucking, like, clean up after yourself. They learn to do the dishes, learn to do the laundry, like, you know. But you're going to find someone that's somewhat similar in a way. But obviously, you're going to have, like, the sexual thing with, like, a spouse. Listen, this reality is, like, generally speaking, you're going to find somebody that's similar to the opposite parent. Like, you know, if you're a guy, you're going to find somebody that's similar to your mom. And if you're a girl, you're going to find somebody that's similar to your dad, unless you're gay or whatever. That's different. But like, my mom and my wife are similar. They're not the same. I don't want to fuck my mom. That's disgusting. But like, my mom's a very strong businesswoman who has like a lot of aspirations, or did have a lot of aspirations to grow in her company. She did very well. My wife is very similar. She's a very strong, independent woman that is like a behavior specialist for adults with intellectual disabilities. My wife takes care of me. Like, she cooks for me, she cleans for me. But also she tells me to do that. I will do whatever she needs me to do. Right? Like, there's like, this is something we know that. Right? It's not like this weird pedo shit. It's just kind of how life works. I don't know. Okay.
It's weird. It's really, really weird. And it does feel a lot like projecting. It does feel a lot like, well, I can't have you like that. So I want someone who is like me to have you like that so I can like live through that. You know, that's how it comes across. That's how it feels. And it's really, really, really weird and concerning. Teach your child to have love and accept good love, and also to respect people and be independent. It goes into like, there are so many videos like this one. Someone holding their baby boy, and it says, reasons I love being a boy mom. I'll be his first true love. And that's the only thing it says. So it's not even reason.
Oh, it's not really that big of a deal. Okay.
It's just reason. When
I was a kid, I wanted to like marry my mom. Okay. Obviously, it's fucking weird. As long as a mom doesn't let them do that. But that's like kind of true. Like, yeah, that's a little bit true. Obviously, I didn't marry my mom. You just say weird shit when you're a fucking kid. This is not going to work out. This sucks. Wait, does it go through this? Wait. Oh, wait a minute. It does. Oh, fuck. I think you're reading a little too much into that one.
The one and only reason she is happy to be the mother to a boy is that she gets to be his first love. And there's...
You think that's the only reason? What? Are you insane?
That's the happy to be the mother to a boy. It's just being a boy.
Reasons I love being a mom, because they're your first true love. That's one reason. I mean, I'm sure there's others.
He gets to be his first love.
You're trying to say that she had a kid just to rape it. Like, I'm sorry for using like really like heavy language, but I just want you to realize that like, this is what you're telling people. That's not what she wants a kid for. You have to relax.
And there are so many TikToks like this that say this, and it's so weird because, like, I guess, but what about their other parent? You know, like, this is what's so strange about it. It's the separation of like daughters and sons. Of like, why are you as his mother, his first love, and not his father? And why is that the opposite when you have a daughter? Why are you enforcing this?
I don't know. I've never really heard a dad say that like their daughter will be their first love. Maybe that's just like the difference between men and women. Maybe.
It's like heteronormativity onto your children, but not even in the sense of like, you know, talking about them in a weird way between two babies and having like a boy baby and a girl baby being like, oh, they have a crush on each other, because that's also weird. But like when you're extending heteronormativity into I am my son's first love, it's really strange. It's so strange. Like if you say that for your daughter as well, it's like slightly less weird in the sense that you're not making it into this weird, like almost like implied romantic sort of thing. Like,
wait, hold on. Let me get this straight. As we're sitting here talking about heteronormativity and all this other nonsense, you're trying to say that if the mom saying it about the son is worse than the mom saying it about the daughter because there's implied sexual whatever there. So by that logic, that means that if a lesbian mom said about their daughter, they want to fuck their kid too. There's nothing is implied there. You're assigning like some kind of sexuality or some kind of like fucking weird sexual relationship to a mother who's just like, I love my son and I'm going to be their first love. Like, talk to parents. What do the people in your comments say? Oh my God. This is come on. I don't know. Bro, this is the problem with social media, dude. Holy fuck. Okay. I mean, base take. Okay.
Yeah. You are his first love, I guess. But so is like any of your other children, because surely their siblings should love them and their father should love them. They should be surrounded by love. Why are you instantly being like, I am the love of your life? It is me, my child, my son. Not my daughter, though.
They didn't
not my
say
daughter.
the love of their life, but okay.
Son! Like, what? Oh my God. And they extend out into, like, these as well.
They say if God gave you a son, it's because you needed to know what true love feels like. I must have needed extra love. God blessed me with 3 wonderful sons.
What do you mean? What do you mean? God
That's literally just religious cringe. Let's be real here.
Gave you sons so you knew what true love would feel like. What? Like,
I think they want to fuck their
kid.
I think they want to fuck their kid.
Right?
You're right.
Agree. There should be no one in the world you love more than your children. That I 1000% get is like an unmatched form of love. Very different to any other type of love. But why? Why is that exclusively for your sons?
Because they want to fuck their kid.
For them?
They want to fuck their kid. That's all. That's it.
Why did God give you daughters? Is it not to give them love? Is it not to feel
God bless.
love? Is it for something else? Like this has the same sort of vibes as like, you should have children because if you don't, who will look after you in your old age? Like,
what? I don't think it has the same vibes. I think it has the vibe of like I probably grew up in the South with my education system being a little bit rough, and I like got a little too much. And I also don't realize that people use the word of God to shift his language so that they can use it to promote hatred onto groups of people like gay people. And I'm just very susceptible to that because God bless you. By the way, I'm only gonna have a kid just so that they can take care of me when I get old. Because hey, what else are kids for? By the way, you should take care of your parents when they get old if you have the means to do so. They raised you your whole life. It's not practical that everybody can save up for retirement. Be good to your parents, especially if they're good to you.
You should not have children for the purpose of you being able to experience love.
I don't think that okay, sure.
That's a very selfish motive to have children.
I agree.
Like, yes, I hope that your children love you. But that's not their purpose.
Not her.
They don't
Just
owe
the
you
God people.
love. You know, like you can hope for love in return for the love that you give them. But they don't owe you that. Like, your kids
If you're giving your kid love, they owe you love back. If you're being a shit parent, then they don't, obviously. But okay, whatever.
Make you happy and proud, and they should make you
I'm reacting too hard.
Love, and you should want to give your child the world. I 1000% agree, and I don't want to take that away. But the purpose of having children shouldn't be to fluff your ego and make you feel love. The purpose
that's exactly what it sounds like
to
me.
You want to extend the love that you have. You want to give your love to more people. You want to bring more love into the world. And
basically what she's trying to say, and I'll have to sing the song for you. I'll have to sing the song for you because like this is relevant to the thing. I'll have to sing the song, so there's not a DMCA. I saw a TikTok about a guy singing a song, and basically this is what you don't want to have a relationship with your kid. You don't want to be like this song here. All right. It's 1:15. I'm a little drunk and I need you now. And I said I wouldn't call, but I'm a little drunk and I need you now. Now, just so you guys know, one time I got DMCA'd for singing the song so good. My Spotify is Papa Gut. Take a look, check it out. That was a sample from the song. It's uncanny. It's uncanny. I actually was the ghost singer for Lady Antebellum. I did not make this whole video just to do that, by the way. Okay? That's all it was. All right?
You want to help, build a life for someone, with someone. But again, this leads me to the question of, like, if sons exist to make mothers feel love, and that is their purpose, what the fuck do daughters exist for? Why is that different? Why do daughters not exist to feel love and be loved?
I think that just a relationship between mothers and sons and fathers and daughters are different. A little bit, but okay.
And they actually do have an answer for that. And you're not ready for it.
If your first child was a girl, it's because you needed to know it's time to do things differently. She's watching you. And if it was a boy, it means God knew it was time for you to be loved like no other, to show you what true love is.
So this,
bro, we're into like religious fucking nutcasery at this point. This isn't even about fucking parents anymore. This is about people like thinking too much about like the baby. Like if God gave you a boy, fucking what are you talking about? Okay, that's just like weird religious people, and God bless them, by the way. God bless everybody. Okay, but that's all that is. I got 5 rounds. Fuck. Okay.
This is obviously extremely fucked up and misogynistic straight off the fucking bat.
Sure.
Like, what do you mean? Your daughters exist so that they can watch you and learn. So you have to be cautious and change who you are and become a better person so that your daughters have a good role model. Whereas your sons, they just exist to love you. There's no expectations on them. Your sons can do whatever they want as long as you love them and they love you. That's all. Why? Why? Oh my god, this is such the like boys will be boys mentality.
Do you actually feel this like frustrated with what you're saying, or are you just pretending? I'm trying to be an asshole, but like holy fuck, this is no
straight
way.
From the get-go.
There's no way.
Like you are expecting your daughter to be good, and you are expecting your daughter to spend her entire life, literally from before even being born, like watching you and learning from you and being a good person, where you don't have that expectation from your son at all. That's not what sons do. Sons don't
I don't think it's that deep, but okay.
Watch and learn. Sons just do whatever the fuck they want, and I love them all the same. Coddling your sons and the whole boys will be boys mentality is so unhelpful and so dangerous. And then
coddling boys is dangerous. Coddling any of your kids is definitely dangerous. For sure. It's not a good thing. For sure. But if you want to get fucking woke, we don't need to get woke. We don't need to talk about the relationship of coddling your kids, and historically people do saying that about gay kids and saying the only reason you have a gay boy is because you coddle them too much, which is probably not true. It's most likely genetic factors and hormone washing in the womb, and the gay son probably just gravitates towards their mother. But yeah, which is a thing that happens, by the way. It's an observed thing. I just think that okay, yeah, sure, whatever.
Your daughters to be able to set boundaries and, take responsibility on at such a young age because they should know better and such is like so harmful and so damaging, especially if you have both. If you have a son and a daughter and you are visibly, obviously raising them very differently with very different standards and expectations, that is going to hurt both people. It is going to allow your sons to know that they can do whatever the fuck they want and they will get away with much more than your daughters. It'll teach boys that they can get away with more than girls. They can hurt girls. They can do whatever and they'll be fine. And it's teaching these girls that boys can get away with doing whatever. They don't have to be as cautious. They can do whatever they want and they're going to get further in life and they're going to get better treatment despite being worse people. Raise your children
as they should. Give them the
same amount of love. Give them the same amount of attention.
Guys.
Don't do things differently. It's all about social conditioning, and you are putting misogyny straight into your household for no goddamn fucking reason. Balance is so important. Bro. Equal responsibility is so important. Boundaries are important. Talking and communication with all of your children is important. Filling emotional needs is important. Don't put expectations onto your children at such a young age. Don't expect them to do things for you because your kids don't owe you shit. You owe your kids everything, and they owe you nothing. Before wrapping up, I want to go back to the first lady.
Oh, she's gonna rap now? Fuck. I thought we were done with the goddamn singing. Son of a bitch.
Because after getting all the backlash for her initial TikTok, she made a few more TikToks about favoritism. And I just wanted to watch them because, instead of taking on board the criticism, she decided to make a few jokes because she thinks it's really funny that she favorites her son. So we're going to watch a couple of those. POV, you're a toxic boy mom, and she has like a bowl of sweets.
Damn, that kid's fucking big for 3. Jesus, that guy's like a Goliath. I'd hit him back if he hit me.
She pushes her daughters to one side and gives her son the sweets because that's hilarious.
It's a little funny. She should obviously work to correct that behavior. The only thing that I would say is concerning is that, I would hope that there's one thing for you to, gravitate towards your son a little bit more, and treat him a little bit better, unintentionally, versus, right? So there's a difference between her identifying it and just continuing to lead into the behavior, which is not good. You should try to treat all your kids the same. Versus them making a little joke out of it because she like probably sometimes like ends up treating the kid a little bit better without realizing it. Her husband probably calls her up like, "Yo, you gotta fucking knock it off" and shit like that. Yeah, could be concerning, but I really don't think that I would have made a 30-minute video that was this deep, you know?
And then we have this one, when you try to pick on your little bro but forget he's mom's favorite.
You're excused.
This is funny.
And then finally, we have this one.
It's not that big of a deal.
My girls for the weekend, so I have the fave child all to myself.
At this point, she's just fucking with you. That's the funniest part, is she's just fucking with him at this point, just to piss him off. There's no way. Oh my god. This is funny. Wow.
Where basically she like ships her daughters off.
You think that she did that? You think that she actually got rid of her daughters just so that she could like, because she was like so fucking weird with her kid? Or do you think that maybe her, like all of her daughters got invited to like a sleepover because it's a girls only sleepover or something, and she decided to make a funny TikTok out of it? I doubt she shipped her kids away just to like actually be like, oh, like there's no way. That would be obscene. Okay? There's no way. Like she's just fucking with you at this point and you're falling for it. So it's funny.
Friend's house or something, I don't know, and
maybe
has her son
to go there
for the weekend, which is so funny. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah. Oh, they got to get rid of the dad too, so she can fuck her son. By the way, we have to make sure that happens because clearly that's where we're going here, guys. That's how fucking crazy we are. That's the narrative I'm pushing because I think it's true. We got to call CPS. Call CPS.
This isn't going to be emotionally damaging for your daughters and your son.
Yeah, you're right. Them probably going to like a sleepover with other girls is totally not going to be fucking. It's totally going to be like super emotionally damaging. It's going to like destroy them. Their confidence is going to be evaporated forever. Check this out. Hot take. Okay. Just because life wasn't super fair to you or bad things happen to you doesn't mean that you're going to have like a deep-seated fucking trauma. Okay. Obviously, the mom treats the son probably a little bit better. That doesn't mean that those kids are going to like fucking light themselves on fire and not be able to function in the world. Could she do better? Sure. We all could do better about everything. But like, it sounds like the mom likes her son more. She's somewhat normal. They make it a little bit of a joke out of it. Her husband and her kids probably fucking tease her about it. And like, it's just a meme around the house and everybody's like, haha, whatever. And it's not that big of a deal. Okay.
At all. Especially not if one day in the future they find these TikToks. One of them is...
They're in the TikTok! Sorry. I did say a similar thing like that before, but they're in the TikTok. At this point, I think that they know. I mean, maybe the mom's just saying, do this, and I'll make a TikTok. But they're probably seeing the TikToks already. But, like, I agree with you. I have to because I agreed with you with that before. I brought that point up before. But, like, now that I'm seeing that they're in the TikToks, I'm like, oh, they probably know about it. It's probably just some stupid, goofy meme.
10 or 11, so I'm sure that they'll be on TikTok soon enough, and they will find these TikToks. And although you make your favoritism very obvious and you play it off as a joke, it's not a joke to them. And they're going to be feeling that, and they're going to be internalizing that, and they're going to hold resentment towards you and also their brother. It is going to impact them. It is presently impacting them, whether you want to acknowledge that or not, whether you think it's this funny, lighthearted joke or not. Yeah. Children pick up on these things. Children are very, very emotional.
Considering they seem to be like totally aware of it, like, yeah, no shit, they're picking up on it. Okay.
In tune. And they are in really fundamental times in terms of their development, and everything you do right now impacts them greatly in the future. Wow. I am someone who personally, like, I have a lot of emotional shit. I am a very damaged person.
So maybe you're projecting a little bit then. You never know.
It's an excellent example of like, you know, emotional needs not being met as a child, or the way your parents act are greatly impacting your future. And I am someone who ended up in an abusive relationship as a teenager because, you know, sad. Things that I learned as a child. Because the way you see things and the way you receive...
I'm not trying to laugh at her because I'm not, like, it's not funny. It's just like you're almost 1,000% projecting your trauma onto this. And I get it, but like, you have to try not to do that because it sounds like you had a pretty fucked childhood in some capacity based on what you're saying, and I respect it. You know, I had my own issues in childhood as well. Like, I'm a single mother. You know, things could have been better in different ways. Life is what it is, but like, I think you're going a little too far here of your projection of your relationship onto the situation. Like it's like this the videos are nothing more than like, oh, this is a little bizarre, but that's it, because you don't know the full context. You're kind of reaching here. If you did a thought piece that was like, hey, I saw these TikToks and I don't think that this is happening, but like let's do a thought experiment on like what could be happening based off of these TikToks if I'm like super bad faith about it. And then it could be like a really interesting conversation about like emotional incest, sure, but like you're taking this and like running with it, even though they've given you really nothing that suggests that they're like bad parents or abusive in some capacity, which is what you're saying. You literally said that they're emotionally abusive in some capacity. Like you're being disproportionate. I don't think it's so good.
And the world around you and the way people express their emotions and the way people love you and treat people around you and favoritism, etc. All of that.
No, I banned that guy. I've watched the chat. The guy's like, can I say the N-word in here? I'm just going to ban you if you ask me a dumb fucking question like that. You're obviously being a moron. I don't think it's funny to be like, oh, can I say the N-word? Like, I'm not like, haha. Like, super based, bro. Like, that's a funny joke to me. Like, I'm not even going to bother leaving you in the chat, obviously, because even if it's just a joke to you, I just don't care. Like, you're not worth being part of the audience if you're going to be a dumb fuck like that. So.
Impacts you as a person. And you have to be teaching your girls that they are of equal value to boys. And you have to be teaching your sons that they are of equal value to girls.
Based, sure.
That's the bare fucking minimum you can do. Same consequences for actions, same emotional regulation, same freedom. Make sure that they don't continue misogyny into their lives. And you are instilling misogyny into your children. You should be raising your children to be loved and to give love and to be wanting to help people, not hurt people. And you should be raising them to not accept being hurt. And this mom in particular, it's really frustrating because she does a lot of really cool stuff as a mother. Like, one thing I find really cool of her is that she had an eating disorder, and so she is teaching her children intuitive eating. And she has
Is she only teaching the son about intuitive eating, or is she like, because this would be the manifestation.
Man 608
I thank you so much, brother.
Chatted $10. Another day, another W stream.
Base, thank you. Okay, so this is where you would be able to test this. You're trying to make it seem like she has these massive double standards between like the son and the daughter. That are the daughters. It's probably manifesting in like really small ways. Like she's probably a little too charitable to the son, and part of it's probably because it's her youngest, and that's kind of something that happens. You're usually like super strict on your first kid, a little more mellow as you have additional kids. Okay, when it comes to her teaching, like what did you say, intuitive eating? Does she only teach it to the son, or does she teach it to all the kids? Probably all the kids. Like this is where you would see it manifest. Like the way that you're talking about this topic, and I don't know if you're realizing it, is in like a way as if like she has the kids chained up in the fucking basement. Like it's really, really, really like it's just like massively disproportionate.
Really, really good like parenting style around like food and healthy food dynamics and relationships with your body and such. And that is really, really cool. And I really, really admire that. And that is something that if I had kids, I also would want to do. But it's just completely negated because you take it away by like instilling
all gone by instilling misogyny. Fuck
misogyny into your children, you know? And like, as someone,
bro, stop with the misogyny angle. It's just like I haven't like it's not layers. Okay, let's just.
Who struggle with an eating disorder because of misogyny in society, you would think that you would have more of an understanding about that, you know? You can't be surprised if your daughters do damaging and dangerous things in order to get your attention, or do damaging and dangerous things because they have learnt that that is acceptable to accept. And you can't be surprised if
I'm sure that young boy's going around just beating the fucking relentless shit out of those kids. That's probably happening.
Like actually goes out into the world and starts hurting people outside of your house, or he starts taking his emotions out on other people because he that, you know, that's an appropriate thing to do.
Fuck, I gotta take my emotions out poorly. Shit, I gotta hit a girl. Fuck, where's my wife? Just kidding, she's on vacation. I told her she can go and I was going to stay home and work, which is obviously me upholding misogyny because I took the traditional role as a man to pay for my wife going on vacation because I'm the provider. And obviously I'm objectifying her, and I made her go with her brother, a man, to make sure that she's safe because I don't think that women should leave the house by themselves or they're going to get hurt. Wait a minute. Is that misogyny or is that woke? Because you have to make sure that when a woman goes out, she stays with somebody that can protect her because she might get violently assaulted at night. Fuck. I don't even know where we're going with these social narratives. I'm sorry. I'm just being like fucking dumb.
Green Man 608 became a member.
Just like I don't know what this is. I don't know. This isn't goblin mode. This is like fucking goober mode or something. I don't even know what's happening. I'm fucking super heteronormative, bro. Okay? Don't look at my search history, though, because then that might not be reflected in that.
Have a bad day. Please keep all of this in mind and, like, do better. I know you said in your TikTok you want to do better, and you've acknowledged that it's a problem.
Oh my god, bro, you really dropping that bombshell on us now? What did I say at the beginning? That she probably knows it's a problem and she's trying to do better. And what does this motherfucker say?
I know you said in your TikTok you want to do better, and you've acknowledged that it's a problem.
So then why are you shitting on her? Like, you're trying to make it seem like she's intentionally doing this when, like I said, she probably just has like a bias toward her kid a little bit that she's working on. And you're like, no, that's not. It's obviously I was right. I was fucking right, dude. Oh my god. When am I ever wrong? I don't know, because I do this. La 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 la. I don't know what's happening today. I'm sorry. I'm in a rare form.
That you want to fix, but then you went on to make jokes about it, so you obviously didn't really mean that. And at
okay, you can make jokes about your bad behavior sometimes. It's not like horrible, like this terrible abusive behavior. She just needs to treat her kids a little more equally. It's not that big of a deal. Like, she's working on it. Okay, be proportionate about it. Oh, you know, I treat all my kids really well, but I like one of my kids a little bit more, and sometimes it shows. Okay, well, you should work on the behavior. Okay. We're going to be okay. We're going to survive. We will survive. Don't worry, guys. We'll be okay. It's by the way, don't DMCA strike me on that one. Okay.
All the other mothers and those toxic boy moms I talked about, I think I covered all of that already. Don't emotionally manipulate your child. Don't equate them to, you know, a lover or a partner. Don't be overbearing and not allow them to experience love and real world things because you hold some sort of weird jealousy and resentment. Raise your children to be independent and good adults. Raise them to want to give love and to be able to accept good love.
No, Scar
Raise them to be happy, and that should make you happy. Their love should make you happy. That's what being a parent is. It's giving love and not expecting anything in return. Anyway, I have been filming this for way longer than expected. Oh my god, it's been over an hour. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I got pretty riled up.
In fact, you know what time it is right now by her? I know this. You see the clock on her wall? It's 1:15. I'm a little drunk and I need you now. Hey, it's relevant to the video. I did not create this video just for that moment.
You know, heated when it comes to this sort of stuff like parenting and like misogyny.
Oh god, I have to reference
anyway, thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. A massive thank you to my Sprout and Above patrons whose names are up on the screen right now. And a huge thank you to my Kiwi Cat patrons: Wolf, Toulouse, Bobby, Josh, Mandy, Robbie, Ikazel, Kai, Jessica, Eldo, Ida, Kuyakori.
All right, cool stuff. Maybe I'll subscribe to the Patreon. All right, well, it was a video. It was well put together. She's obviously smart, but like she's missing some life experience, I think, and she's projecting her own trauma onto this topic a little too hard. So that's the best part about being a straight, cisgendered white male is I don't have fucking trauma. So I come into these topics fully unbiased, perfectly educated. I'm not blinded by silly female emotions like fucking trauma. Ugh. Throw out the kid if you ever get traumatized. That's my opinion. No, but I just think you're doing a little too much. Although so am I in this video, to be honest with you. I'm going a little crazy. So, you know, we're all being a little sussy. By the way, I fucking hate this map.
I want Papa Gut to pee on my face, but just as a friend. There's nothing weird about that. I want him to pee on my face.